Learned Attorney General. Finally, Honorable Kofi Buah'S.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for the opportunity. Let me thank the minority leader for this very important statement condemning the brutal killing of a fine journalist, Mr. Khashoggi. Mr. Speaker, I think that a lot has been said about the savage nature and the brutal nature of the killing. Now, Mr. Speaker, the clock was ticking on Saudi Arabia's behavior for the past year. And it's important that now that the lens is on Saudi Arabia, those issues are recalled. Mr. Speaker, we recall the kidnapping of the Prime Minister of Lebanon. We recall the extrajudicial arrest and detention of a lot of journalists, including high-level government officials by the new Crown Prince. Mr. Speaker, we recall Saudis even-handed killing of innocent civilians in Yemen. Mr. Speaker, and the list goes on. Mr. Speaker, I think that it is important that in the face of all this that has culminated in this brutal killing, and Mr. Speaker, I'm sure the reason why it happened was because Saudi Arabia was so sure that they are so powerful and so rich that they cannot be touched. Mr. Speaker, isn't it surprising that after 2 weeks, when the world was trying to find out what happened, the most powerful leader of the world, the United States president, was the one that actually came out as a spokesperson for Saudi Arabia that probably Khashoggi is probably dead. Trump. He had a chat with the king of Saudi Arabia to basically break the news to the world, in a way compromising the neutral position of the United States. Now, Mr. Speaker, what was even worse, when it happened, the son of Khashoggi was basically hauled to the king's palace. And if you look at the footage, that man looked scared and shaking. Somehow, for a photo op, a very shameful photo opportunity. Immediately after that photo opportunity, the son has basically left the country to the United States. It tells you a lot about what has happened. Mr. Speaker, we now know that this was really premeditated. A Khashoggi look-alike was dressed in the same clothes, in the same trouser. The only difference, and this is the only thing that the Saudi planners missed, was the shoe. Khashoggi morning and the Khashoggi look-alike also basically came out as if the man had come out. Thanks to the Turkish intelligence, they followed this created Khashoggi, and somehow the shoe was different. He walked into a hotel, changed. Mr. Speaker, there's too much evidence for the world not to pinpoint Saudi Arabia. It is very, very clear that this death was premeditated. But as has been variously stated, this is a brutal killing of a journalist. And the world must make sure that the perpetrators of this killing are brought to book. We cannot allow this issue to be a political football in the power play between the players in the region. We also know the issues there with Qatar. But Mr. Speaker, I think the call, and that's my view, the call by the president of Turkey that Saudi Arabia does not have the credibility based on all the things that has transpired to try the case, to investigate the case, is something that we must support. We must all accept that Saudi Arabia has lost the credibility in this very case to investigate itself, and that the world must be allowed to come in. I'm sure that it's obvious when you look at the speech by the Turkish president. It's looking like it's also an opportunity for them to basically use this issue as a bargaining chip to deal with bigger outstanding issues. And Mr. Speaker, that is not what the world must be interested in. The killers of Khashoggi must be tried and punished to serve as a deterrent to tyrants in the world. That journalists, in doing their work, cannot be brutally murdered in this world of ours. And the United States must show the way. So far, they have not. And we talked about the President of the United States acquiescence in this very case. And I believe that the call that has been made, especially to the Crown Prince, to basically look at the things that has happened since he took over the helm of affairs, the extra judicial things that has been done, and what the world has begun questioning. Money cannot buy anything, Mr. Speaker, and Saudi Arabia clearly must understand that by now. I call on the world, as has been called, that the United Nations must speak out and must lead an effort to make sure that they take over this investigation so that we can have an outcome that is transparent and justice brought to Khashoggi and the family. Mr. Speaker, on that note, I want to thank the minority leader for the statement. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Buah. Honorable Member.